Anybody who wins best costume, you're gonna get this gift card worth $1,000. I'm a big spender. Where is Doug Anderson? Doug? Where is my man Doug? Oh, Doug, can you come on down?
Eddie, is that real money?
Real dough, buddy. I'm not a cheapo.
That's Monopoly money, you told me.
We're doing Alan from Ten Commandments. Okay, here we go. We're going to pick a few here. We're going to get the top 5. Okay, number 1. Come on up here, Burt Reynolds. Get up here. Get up here. Get up here. Number 2. Get up here, Zorro. Andy. Where's your sword? I don't know where you put it in the car. Okay, you're cool. You stay.
It's all right,
Okay.
but he has a real one.
Gene and Donna, get up here. Quick, let's go. Let's go. You guys are a couple, so you're together.
Yeah, I know we are.
Okay. Alan and Mary Jane, get up here.
Don't put it there, Eddie.
Marilyn Monroe, yeah. Marilyn Monroe.
Carol, get up here, Carol.
Carol, Marilyn Monroe, yeah.
I shouldn't count. I don't count.
Get up there.
She
You
looks
count.
beautiful.
She
You
does.
look
She
awesome.
looks good.
Okay, get over here, guys. Okay, we're gonna pick 2, and then we're gonna go between the 2. Okay? This is called a huddle.
I really think he looks like Harvey Weinstein.
You gotta show a little more flesh. That might get you the thing.
I need to see the outlet.
There you go.
The outlet face.
Hey, you know what? I can do that too, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, don't stick it in him. I need to see it. There you go. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Okay, I'm gonna pick 2 to come up here and stand, and then the rest, please take your seats. All of you were fantastic. I mean, every single one of you. Everyone. I mean, how could I get him? Timmy and Evelyn were phenomenal. All of you guys were phenomenal. So this is really tough. Okay, so we're gonna pick 2, and then whoever's not picked, please take your seat. Okay? Here we go.
Maybe you should be proud.
Dun, da, 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 dun. Do we hear a drum roll here? Dun, da, 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 da. Hold on, let me go put my suit back on. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Andy, get out here. This is really, really tough. Bert, get out here.
Here you go, Bert. Let's go.
You can get over here.
What?
It's kind of hard. We don't want anybody to be offended here.
Not.
Okay? You're up there. Stand up there.
Mary Jane has
Okay.
panties on.
I want some applause. Okay? Let's hear it for Andy.
Wait a minute. They're not.
Zorro. All right, let's hear it for Burt Reynolds. Burt Reynolds is the winner. You're the winner, bro. Unbelievable. And he didn't get his costume until like the last half hour. He's like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna yap for a little bit, and then we're gonna do some more dancing. I was just thinking about. Sorry, can we just?
I was eight.
She has a hard time controlling what she
It was
thinks
Alan,
about.
yeah.
All of you, thank you so much for being here and dressing up and participating. I really appreciate it. But I've been thinking about some old stories of the old days and the old times, just a few that I can think about. And I partied with a lot of you guys back in the 80s and the 70s, and it progressed as we went along. But I'm also a matchmaker, because I want you to know I'm a matchmaker. My best girlfriend, Evelyn, and my best buddy, Timmy, were both single, and I invited them to my house for a Super Bowl party. So they come to my house for a Super Bowl party, and the halftime attraction was Beavis and Butthead. If you can picture that. So Beavis and Butthead come on the halftime attraction, and we're cracking up laughing. So Evelyn is sitting on the couch with Timmy, and I'm in a chair, and we're holding our stomachs, laughing to death at Beavis and Butthead. And Evelyn is looking at Timmy like, who is this freaking kook? This guy, you know, he was just laughing his head off. I was laughing my head off. So she walks out to the car at the end of the night. I walk her out to the car, and she goes, he asked me for my phone number. I go, well, what did you do? She goes, I gave it to him. I go, don't worry, Butthead will call you. So she called him, they got married, they have a beautiful 19-year-old son. Give it up for him. So the person in here that I know the longest is Ray Martinez. I met Ray Martinez when I was probably 9 or 10 years old in elementary school. And he lived on one side of 8th Street, I lived on the other side of 8th Street. So we used to ride our bikes to each other's house. We hung out all the time. We had a blast together. So we used to ride our bikes to Little General and Palmetto Market and 7-Eleven. So we used to go to these three, and that's where we'd ride our bikes there. So we'd go into 7-Eleven and we'd buy our little candy cigars. We'd get M&Ms. We'd buy our condoms there. And
Especially once they were older than 8.
yeah, don't get excited. We didn't get laid back then. We used to blow them up with water and throw them at cars on 8th Street. That's what we did. So we used to hang out together, and we'd sit in front of 7-Eleven, no kidding. We had spider bikes with the banana seats on them, and we'd have our candy and our gum, and we'd sit there, and we always had a Slurpee. We'd get a Coca-Cola Slurpee, and we would sit on our bikes in front of 7-Eleven, and we would just sit there and wait. And we would wait for somebody to walk out of 7-Eleven and accidentally drop a Playboy magazine. That's what we did. That was our goal in life, was to see a Playboy magazine. We needed to see some boobies at 10 years old, I'm telling you. So we knew we weren't going to see any in real life, so we needed to see some on paper. So we'd hang out at 7-Eleven. We used to ride our bikes everywhere. We went over the catwalk together. So then high school comes around. So high school comes, he goes to a different high school than me. He goes to Carl Park. I go to South Miami. We're still best buddies. Cobras. We're still best buddies. We're hanging out together all the time. And I made the basketball team. So I made the basketball team, and I'm 150 pounds soaking wet. And I wanted to beef up a little bit. I wanted to put on some muscle. I wanted to gain some weight. So he goes, oh, I can help you with that. I said, oh, whatever. He goes, we'll start working out together. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So I never lifted weights in my life. So he comes over to my house. He makes me buy a weight set. I go to JCPenney. I get a weight set for a 110-pound weight set for $19.99. He makes me buy a curl bar, an easy curl bar. He puts 75 pounds on the thing. I only weigh 150. We get in my backyard in the boiling sun. We take our shirts off, and he stands there and he goes, okay, we're going to do buddy curls. I go, buddy curls? That sounds gay. He goes, nope. I stand in front of you, you stand in front of me. I do 2 curls, I hand the bar to you, you do 2, you hand it back to me, and we go back and forth. I go, that still sounds gay, but I'm going to do it anyway. So we work out and we do this for like 30 sets. I woke up the next morning and I was going to kill him. My freaking body was paralyzed. I was like this. Oh, I couldn't even move my arms. I mean, I was hurting so bad from lifting weights with this guy. So then he tells me, you're going to drink this protein shake, this protein stuff. So he makes me drink this protein stuff. It's orange jelly. It's in a container like this. And he says you're going to take 2 tablespoons a day. And you're going to beef up. It's going to help you put muscle on and put weight on. And I'm like, whatever. So I put it in my kitchen, and my mom walks in, and my mom sees it, and she picks it up. She goes, what's this? I go, that's my protein. I'm going to start working out. I'm going to start putting on some pounds. That's my protein there. She goes, really? I go, yeah. So she goes, let me see that. So I give her the thing, and she looks at the back of it. And she starts reading the ingredients, and it's got cow guts, all these disgusting things in there. She goes, you're not drinking this crap. And I said, well, wait a minute. I said, Ray Martinez is drinking it, and he said it's fine. You know, he's been drinking it for months. Oh, Ray's drinking it? That's okay. If Ray's drinking it, you can drink it. Go ahead and die. It's like anything this guy did with my mom, he just walked on water with her. So, you remember that. And then he'd come over to my house for free roast beef, and we fed him all the time. You know. So, if you open up the dictionary and you look at the word best friend, this guy's picture is going to be there. And it's really my picture. It's me. But if you don't see me, you're going to see this guy. It's 1974. I'm going to high school for the first time. I get on the bus. I don't know anybody. So I'm on my way to the South Miami High. We go over Carl Way. We go over the bridge. We come to a couple bus stops. The bus is packed full. And there's one seat empty sitting next to me. So Alan Gutierrez gets on the bus that day, and he sat down right next to me. And we've been best buddies ever since. He was my best man at my wedding. I was his best man at his wedding. We went everywhere together. We were joined at the hip. We were in high school. I mean, I was always afraid they were going to think we were gay because we just did everything together. We were together all the time. We used to dress alike like twins in school. We wore sneakers. No. We wore Converse. We wore jeans, and we had paper shirts. We had those little paper shirts.
He doesn't wear skirts.
We had paper shirts, and we used to walk in the hallways, and we thought we were bad to the bone. We'd be cruising in the hallway looking for girls, and he'd stop and look at me, and I mean, we were so joined at the hip. This is serious, it's no joke. He'd stop and say, hey, I got to go to the bathroom and go pee. You want to go pee with me? And I go, I don't have to go pee, but I'll go with you anyway. So we go to the bathroom and pee together. So then we work out together, and he'd come over to my house, and we would train for 3 hours at my house. We would play basketball for 3 hours, and he'd go home. 10 minutes later, he'd call me on the phone. Hey, I got to go to Kmart and get some toilet paper. You want to go with me? And I'd go, yeah, that sounds like fun. Come pick me up. Then he'd come by and get me. So my favorite story with him is we went out partying one night, and we're going to Visions. We get all dressed up, and we're going to Visions of Kendall. So we get there. This girl from Playworld was in there that I wanted to see, and there's a line to get in the place. So we're like 4 people away from getting in, and the doors open, and we hear bottles flying, and we hear all this racket going on. There was a huge fight going on in there. So some bouncer takes this guy and throws him out the door, and his head hit the bumper on a car right in front of the place. And I'm looking at him like, we going in this place? I mean, it was bad. It was a bad fight. So we waited. We go inside the bar. We stayed there for like 3-4 hours, and we got hammered. Him more so than me. And I'm driving. So I'm on the expressway, driving home. I don't know, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. And I'm doing everything I can to stay in the lanes. And I'm driving, and he's sitting next to me. And all my cars, by the way, were in mint condition. Mint. I used to buy my cars in mint and sell them in mint. So he's sitting next to me, and I'm driving, and I'm like paying attention, trying to pay attention, and he looks over at me, and he goes, Ed, he says, I don't feel too good. And as soon as I looked at him and said, don't you think about throwing up, he went, wah! And he spit up all over my window, because the windows were up, and he spit up all over my window in my car. So I'm freaking out, like, you just threw up in my freaking car! So then he puts the window down, and all the throw-up's going down into the window. And now he's still sick, and he's doing this. He's got the window down now, and he's going, puh, puh, and he's spitting out the window. Well, here's a little FYI. When you're going 75 miles an hour on the turnpike, and you're spitting out the window, it blows into the back seat. So my whole car was full of vomit in the back seat. So I took his drunk ass back to my house, I put him in there, carried him in, and his big old ass fell into a plant that my mom had right at the front door. And he ruined the plant. He broke my mom's plant with his big ass. So he breaks the plant.
I was skinny, I wasn't big.
He breaks the plant, and I take him in there, and my mom comes out, and she's laughing hysterically. She thinks it's just a riot. So you missed your tennis appointment with your father the next day because you were so drunk. Well, that's my favorite story with Alan. Yeah, he had all kinds of white stuff all over his pants or some shit. I don't remember. But anyway. You know, both you guys.
Yeah, we were 18, 19 years old. What do you remember?
Yeah. I got a lot of dirt on both you guys, which you know I'm not going to say tonight because I'm keeping.
Because we got more on you.
Yeah. You've both been married a long time. I would hate to see that come to an end. So we're brothers and we're keeping it quiet. So everything's good. So that's my story with these guys. Thank you. We're gonna cut the cake soon now. I think we're gonna cut the cake, and then we're gonna dance some more. I think Alan's gonna talk, and a couple other people are gonna roast me.
When the cake comes, I wanna, after
Yeah, you're
Alan,
gonna
say
do.
something.
Yeah,
No, you just sit down. Pull your skirt down. Sit down, Righteous.
You're a freaking liar. That's all I can say.
So hard to take it seriously.
You know, truthfully, I met Eddie on the scene of the Ten Commandments, and I met him during the filming. That's the truth. You know, I had a lot of good memories in high school and stuff, and of course, I moved to Tampa, he stayed in Miami, and we have still maintained a relationship, and it's been great. And but there is one thing I got to tell you that's always touched me in all the years that I've known Eddie. And he probably won't remember what I'm going to mention right now, but back when I was probably 18, 19 years old, I always worked through high school. I wasn't spoiled like Eddie was. My mom had no money, so I always worked, and I was working at Favis Shoes. Remember Favis Shoes back in the day? And I had an assistant manager and that asked me at that time in the later 70s that he was doing drugs on the side. And he needed someone to go deliver some drugs. And I'm dirt poor, I have nothing. And, you know, he offered me $2,000 or $3,000 just to help him. That's a lot of money to a kid at that point. I didn't say yes or no. I came back to Eddie, and Eddie told me at that time, the moment you do it, they'll never forget you and never get out of that mess. And I listened to Eddie, and I thank God every day because I'll be honest with you, my manager was killed a month later. You know, and we just saw the Netflix Narcos not long ago, and I tell you, that all came to light because that's how it was. You know, my wife worked at Dayland where Cocaine Cowboys was the day it happened, and I used to work at Dayland too, and Miami being the crazy city back in those days, so, you know, you saved my life, you know, because when you have nothing, you're looking to do what you can, help your mom. I lived at home, and I'm thankful I listened to him and took that to heart, and it wasn't worth it. I never did it, and I've never taken drugs anyway. So it's just one of those things that I'm glad I made the right decision. But Eddie helped me do that. So I just wanted to say, with all the bad things he told me to do, that was the one good thing he told me to do. But, you know, we had a lot of good times. Their parents were like second parents to me. You know, my parents are divorced, and, you know, I was there at the house, only child. You know, I met him on the bus, basically going to high school, and like you said, I sat next to him, and he was playing basketball, I did too. He was my ride to practice. So, you know, it's how it was for the next 3 years, and, you know, it was fun times in high school and beyond. And thankfully, I've known him, and we've kept our relationship up, and, you know, of course, he's with somebody awesome like Carol, so I'm really thankful that he's with Marilyn Monroe, and, you know, that's all I have to say. Next. Thanks. Anybody else?
Well, Eddie and I did meet in elementary school, Flagambie Elementary, and I remember we used to go around the neighborhood and break into cars. Oh, I can't tell that story. And then when he got his, it was the Impala, we used to go and siphon gas. We can't tell that story. But no, we were friends through a lot of years. We did go to different high schools, and we drifted off a little bit and came back together. His family, his mother and father, always took me in. My mother passed away when I was younger. They always took me in as you know, as part of the family, and included me in vacations, included me for dinner. I always got excited going to have roast beef and mashed potatoes over at the house. And when I was 15 years old, I had a motorcycle, and then you know, I'd always used to, I used to ride over to the house, and I remember Eddie would jump on the back, and we'd go riding all around Miami. And I remember one time going through the toll plaza on 836. At what speed?
95 miles an hour.
95 miles an hour. You know, and you know,
Before he was a cop.
yeah, I think we were 15, 16 at the time. You know,
And I was just hanging out for dear
you
life.
know, the stupidest, craziest things you could ever imagine. We did. And but luckily,
We're
thank
gonna leave
God.
that right here. That's right
Yeah,
here.
yeah. I had an old jalopy. I bought a 57 Chevy for $100, and I worked on it in the yard. And you know, eventually it got it where it was running, and we'd go cruise South Beach. Of course, it was all old people back then. It was not South Beach like it is today.
But you guys were awesome.
But we were awesome in a 57 Chevy with no mufflers, no nothing. And Eddie's cars were immaculate. I mean,
Except when Alan voted.
I think he spent all day long cleaning the cars, polishing them. You know, I mean, they were immaculate. You know, impeccable cars. And you had the Impala, you had the Cutlass. What'd you have after that? Grand Prix.
Cadillac.
And then the Cadillac. You know, I mean, just every one of them. You were lucky if you were able to buy one of his cars after he was done with it, because you got something that was just in mid condition. But
He didn't drive anywhere.
well, that's true. He didn't drive anywhere.
I drove all of you around. What are you talking about?
He would always get in everybody else's car. That's right. You know, but you know, we just want. We just you know, a lot of good years, a lot of good memories. You know, like we said, we went to different high schools. I went off into the military, went into the Marine Corps, so I was gone for 3 years. Came back, we stayed friends, continued on. You know, we started hanging out again. We were wingmen for each other, going to the bars and whatnot in Miami and stuff. I can't talk about those stories either.
Well, you can if you want. My wife hates
But how about a toast? How about a toast for Eddie? Happy birthday, 60 years.
Happy birthday.
We look forward to the next 60, no, maybe 30 years.
30.
Congratulations and happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Good health.
Thank you for all coming.
Let me have the. Here we go.
I don't want to make it that long because it's boring. But,
Marilyn, you go, girl.
You haven't known him that long.
but when I met Eddie 17 years ago, it was funny because I never liked Ringo. And he never liked Latin. He always liked blondes, big boobs, and if you see me without this wig, it's not that what it is. So, but when I met him, I met this guy who was 21. something like that, especially in Miami, where you have all these guys that were full of whatever, themselves, yeah. So we met at Houston's on a Friday. I was busy studying for my Series 7. So I have, the least thing on my mind was meeting somebody that night. So he came to me, started talking, I gave him my cards. On Monday he calls, and his sister says, Eddie called you, and I'm like, Eddie? Yeah, he sounds familiar. Oh yeah, that's the guy I met on Friday. So he calls again, and she says, Eddie called you, do you call him back? I said, not really, I've been busy. He says, will you please have some manners and call him back? He sounds like a nice guy. And that's how we started talking for about a month. And then we got some drinks, we went out to dinner, and months later we got married, and it's been 17 years. And, up and downs, like everybody else, getting to know each other. But it's one thing that he is a person that is one piece. Never compromises values and his principles for anything, and I appreciate that. Because for me, that is the most important thing. Money goes, money, you can have it tomorrow, you can have it any day, whatever it is, but your principles and values are very important, and that's what Eddie has, and that's what I married him. So I'd say tonight, happy birthday, honey. I love you, and I hope we grow old to be two little raisins, we're about 90-something years old, sitting in the front of me. We're going to be so old that we're going to see, remember when we celebrate those 60 years old? And we're going to go, yeah, I forgot about it. So let's watch the video so we can remember, So happy birthday, honey, and we're going to now sing you the happy birthday. And since I am American,
Sing it by yourself?
I am going to sing. But I'm going to ask all the girls, I'm going to tell you to come here. So all the girls, I'm going to sing happy birthday to Eddie.
Like Marilyn Monroe.
Like Marilyn. So, are we ready?
We're ready. Get out there, ladies.
Happy birthday to you.
Put that spotlight on.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. Eddie. Happy birthday to you.
All right.
All right.
She want us up here? Yeah.
Yes, everybody, all the girls come up here. Because he's Elvis,
Elvis?
even though he changed. So all the girls, we're going to sing you the happy birthday a little more,
A little louder. Louder and
You're never going to
So we can go
right here in the front.
I'm in the front, okay. So this side, guys.
Here we go.
Come on, Lucy. Come on, girls. We have everybody? Like Marilyn.
Yes,
Marilyn
we're
was
ready.
always- Okay, ready. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you. Awesome. Time to cut the cake.
And dance.
Cut the cake.